Hi, I'm Derek with BSCpro, and I'm going to do a quick run-through of some of the features that we have and show you how our software can help you in your business. So the first thing that I'll show is the dashboard. The dashboard is meant to bring together all of the different information. Once your team is using BSCpro, that information will be brought in real time, so you can see how everything's going. So I can also see individual things that have happened within my base shop, names that have been shared, prospects that have been added, and then I also get an activity leaderboard, which kind of ranks people in my base shop on things like a number of invites, recruits, matchups, new apps, registrations, all of that information. So this can be really helpful to give you an overview of how everything is going in the business. So the first page I'll show is the prospect page. We have a prospect tracker. You can add to this from the app or from the website. People can add their prospects, and this is just a good way to bring them all together, log information about them, put in phone numbers, notes, and you can even click to make calls from here, where you would call this person. You have all their important information at your fingertips. You can see the notes on them, and you can make a call and leave a note about how the call went, so that if you're sharing these names among different people in your team, you're going to be able to see, not only will you have a record of how calls went, but other people can see that a call was made and how the call went. And when I say other people, I mean those that have added the name. So if your downline adds a name to the system, and then shares it with you, it's going to show for you. So anything you put in there will also show for that person that added the prospect in the first place. That's kind of how BSCpro works overall, is people are able to add information. It's shared only with people in their team and through their upline. So as if you were an SMD, for example, you're able to see information that your team adds and shares with you. It's one of the big differences in our software from how a lot of other systems would work, is you're able to work as a team and within a hierarchy. So from this area where you make calls, you can then send names. For example, I can send them to the BPM invite list. I can add an appointment if I want to create an appointment for them, or even create a matchup request. So I'll show you some of those other pages now. The first one being the BPM, so I can click to add a guest for BPM, and it just asks the basic information: phone, email, the date of the BPM, and then I select which BPM I'm inviting them to, and then I'll click here to show the captain's list. In the captain's list, again, all of the information from your team flows up, so you'll be able to see all of the names on your captain's list. I'll just select a BPM with some invites on it. So there we are. We have a bunch of sample data in there, sample names. This is what it would look like. And you can see who invited them from your team. You can even hover over it, get their information, like their emails or phone number. Or you can even click on them, and it brings out their profile. So from here, you can do your confirmations. You can confirm the names, put in all the information. You can set up to automatically send email reminders to those people. So you want to still do your phone confirmation, but it can also send an email reminder. And from there, you can we'll actually jump over to the guest check-in, and this is a page you can use on the event night, where you can do all of the BPM check-ins. So all of the names for the event that I'm working from. So let me select over to that event. They all get combined and show up here. Even if there's multiple SMDs in one office, this is going to combine all those names together so that we can have a single point of check-in. So someone could come in, they could say what their name is. So let's say Eloisa shows up. I type their name, and I can see that it comes in here, confirm that it's them, mark them as arrived. As I'm doing this, you can see that all of the check-in data, attendance ratios, total invites, and even rankings for most personal invites or highest base shop invites and arrivals is all calculated in real time. So it's great for competitions, keeping track of everything. and marking these check-ins. So after this is all done, we can go back to our BPM, to our captains list, and do our follow-up after the event. And again, same with all the others. You can make notes. These notes share and show to the people that are to the people that it pertains to. So the inviter would be able to see any notes that were made on those people. So from here, I'm just going to jump really quick. We have a recruit tracker, otherwise known as the speed filters. And as you add recruits, as you recruit people into your business, you're going to be able to track their information here. And so you can see how they're doing, going through the system, going through the process of basically getting onboarded and getting started. So you have meet the spouse, submit licensing, prospect lists, whether they've completed 330, filled out their F&A. All of this can be checked and kept track of. And it's just a way for you to make sure that things are happening. This is customizable by hierarchy, so there are some hierarchies that use different criteria, different things that they want to follow up on and make sure that it happens. So I'll jump from recruits now to our matchup book. So the matchup book is a very popular feature that we have, and what it is a custom calendar for you and your team that can also be synced with your Google Calendar. This allows people to request matchups. So I can see here every number, each of these big blue numbers is the number of appointments I have for that day. So in my whole base shop. So I can see, okay, I have 3 appointments on the 5th. So I'm going to click there, and it pulls out information, details about these different appointments. And I can see here I have an unassigned matchup. And that means that someone has requested a matchup and they want a trainer to be assigned to it. So I can assign it from there, or over here on my task list I can see that I have 4 unassigned matchups. And I have 1 pending. Pending means it's been assigned, but a trainer hasn't accepted it yet. So I'm going to look here, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to assign this matchup that was sent from Mason. I can choose a field trainer, and I'm going to put in someone that I know. I could put in someone that I know will do a good job with this person, and it seems to match the details for the appointment, and also I can see the date up here that they're close, that it's someone nearby. And I can also put in more than one. If I'm not sure here that Brittany is going to be available, then I could go through and pick another person. I could pick as many as I want and save that information, and it's going to send a matchup notification to those trainers. And the first trainer that accepts it becomes the official trainer on that appointment. So then it will sync to their calendar, shows up, syncs all that information together. It's just a really great way to be able to do matchups and keep things moving in your base shop without just having like the crazy amount of back and forth and communication and missed appointments. So from here, I'm going to jump quickly to our production. And really the production works hand in hand with persistency because they're sort of the same thing. So there's production where you're entering all of the new apps that have been written, all the new business, and then those will automatically show up on the persistency, which is another table I'll jump to in a second. So from production, I can see how my production's going. I can see any of the agents. In these cases, they're a writing agent and a split agent. And if there is a split agent, then it automatically splits the points out for them. And depending on if they are in BSCpro in my base shop or not, it's going to attribute the points correctly to my base shop. So if, for example, this Julian was not in my base shop, then this 482 that's part of their split would not be added to my base shop total, which is shown up here at the top. It would only add this 482 from Wayne since he's in my base shop. So this is a really good way to have up-to-the-minute data on how you're doing. It's excellent for a run to make sure that you're getting things done. You can make notes, and then from here, as I mentioned, the persistency tracker, all of these same policies are automatically synced over here, and we have a few other things that you track to make sure that your policies actually hit and that they don't fall. So you can have you have your policy number, the drop date. That one's important. You can get notifications when a drop date is approaching, so that you can make sure that these things are getting done. You can schedule the meds, make notes about that. You store the issue date once the policy has been issued. And this is just going to be able to keep you on track to make sure that a policy that shouldn't drop never drops. And again, like all the other pages, it has a lot of great features when you're trying to work through these policies. Being able to hover over one of your agents, get their information really quick, or click on it, see their phone number, see their contact information, send them a message. It really can speed things up for you. I'll do one last big feature here, and that's licensing. So for licensing, there's actually a licensing timeline, which is for individuals to help them step by step go through their licensing process. And then as someone who's running their own business, you can see how all of your different agents are doing through the system. So you can check it off as things get done, or if they've checked it off on their own licensing timeline, it's going to keep it on track here and up to date. So I can see if they've done their fingerprinting in the case of some states that have these requirements. And as I go through, get their errors and omissions, make some notes, all this information is going, it syncs across like everything else. So that was my quick introduction to what BSCpro can do. We have tons of other features that I didn't even have a chance to go through. So with that, if you have any questions, feel free to message us anytime through our website at bscpro.com. And we're always quick to respond. And if you'd like, we can set up a demo for you and your team and show you how to use everything.